Alright, hello YouTube. It's been a while. I recently played a match with Mathew Pikus, a St. Louis Chess Club regular. It didn't go exactly how I wanted it to, but, you know, it was a learning experience? Maybe. We played 4 games, 1 game every Wednesday of June, except for the last day. We had to, you know, you'll hear that later. Round 1, I had the white pieces. d4, knight f6, c4, d6. For context, I was considering in both my games with white against him to play e4 because he plays the Philidor, which some regular YouTube viewers will remember that when I played matches with Rhett Langseth, one of my most played opponents and someone I meet at every single tournament. I even played him in Vegas. Like, we both drove from different states to play in Vegas. But I play him in every tournament. He plays the Philidor, so I'm very, very familiar with that. But the advice I got from GMs was to just stick with what I want to learn and just keep playing that. So we went for d4, and he played this weird bishop f5 move. And I didn't really know what the hell was going on. But I'm trying not to just spend time just for the sake of spending time. This is not something I've seen before. It's not something I'm going to have to figure out over the board. I played g3 because this is the structure that I'm familiar with, and it makes sense with this light square bishop leaving this diagonal to put one on it. And then he goes for like a similar Philidor-esque setup and pawn structure. I'm assuming he's going to play e5. I just go bishop g2, c6, shutting down my light squared bishop. Makes a lot of sense. And here I was considering the move knight h4, because his bishop, after the move knight d7, his bishop got shut down a little bit. Like, it can't go back. And because he hasn't played h6 yet, if knight h4... Hold on, let me use my mouse, actually. If knight h4, bishop g6, I mean, maybe I can just take it, or I can just leave it until he castles and then take it. Like maybe play knight c3, but I didn't think he was going to do that here. I was thinking he was going to play bishop e4, and this position confused me a lot. I mean, I could play f3 and e4, but my knight feels a bit clumsy, and my bishop... Like, I have a big center. I thought that this was probably something I could do, but again, like, I'm just trying to play pretty normal, so I decided to not go for things that I was so unclear on. The computer says that that line is fine, but black's going to take on b1. Honestly, if I knew that then, maybe I would have gone for it. Just didn't really know how to evaluate it. So I just castled e5, knight c3, and he goes h6. And at this point, I'm kind of regretting not playing knight h4, but I think it's only because I don't have the option to do it anymore. So I just have, like... Because I'm not allowed to do it, I want to do it more. Because if I go knight h4 now, there's bishop h7. So I just went for b4. And I showed this game to Ionescu, and he also, like, he said that b4 was... At first he didn't love it, but then, like, he sat here and he thought about white's position, and he was having trouble finding a better move. I forget exactly what he came up with, but I think b4 makes a lot of sense because all of your play is going to come from the light squared bishop, so I want to open that diagonal and break through here, and destroy his pawn structure and just crash in on the queen side. So I think b4 makes sense from this POV. He played the move e4. Knight d2 I thought was pretty reasonable because like I could play knight h4, but I don't know, it just didn't make much sense to me to put my pieces on the king side if I'm playing on the queen side. So I went knight d2, d5, and b5. And the pawns are getting a little complicated. I wasn't really... Again, I've been pretty lazy with my chess, and I'm not really calculating anymore. So I kind of just played this game on intuition, and I just felt like b5 was good, so I did it. And it is. I don't know. This isn't good because I can just double the pawns and then take, and white is like so much better here. And otherwise I'm just gaining space. And yes, my light square bishop is shut down for now, but I'm gonna also push this pawn and try and kill the pawn chain from behind. And then open that bishop up, you know? Bishop b4, I was expecting queen b3. I kind of felt like he should take on c3 at this point now, and then play c takes b5. Because, okay, so if he plays c takes b5 here, I play c takes d. And there's like, this is bad. This is bad for him, you know? But if he does it, I was thinking, if he does it here, if he takes here and then plays it, he can take here with a tempo on my queen, and he gets to recapture this pawn and reinforce this knight in the center, and be up a pawn. So actually I wasn't going to do that. I was going to play the move bishop a3 and just prevent castling and just hope for the best and hope that it's worth a pawn, or 2 pawns. cut that out. Because I don't know, like if he plays d takes c4, he has 2 pawns here, and I was just kind of basing this on feeling. A very emotional chess player, I found out. But like, I don't know, he can't castle. That's worth like 2 pawns, probably. But anyway, he just went queen a5, which is reasonable. Bishop b2 is kind of forced. Castles. So here's another kind of turning point. Right now, it's sort of annoying that my knight on d2 is so loose. So it's like my knight on c3 is basically pinned, and there's a lot going on that the knight needs to be worried about, so it's very uncomfortable. So I played the move a3. And if he takes now, that's pretty bad, giving up the bishop for nothing with tempo, and then I continue with my plan to play a4, a5, a6. I would have been very happy with that. So he goes back to e7, and then at this point, I played the move a4. And the way I weighed this out in my head was, yes, I am relinquishing control over b4, but I got to do it play the move a4 for free, and eventually I'll be able to work my knight over to b3, kick the queen out, and then continue with a5, a6, but I have an extra tempo to do so. So I thought that, well, yes, it's a drawback that I don't get to kick this bishop ever again after a4, because I got to play the move a4 essentially for free. I think it's an equal trade-off. If he has to go here, then here. Mathew thought that a4 was bad, and he listen, I lost this match, so I have to at least say that like idiot, you were wrong. Computer says a4 is best, therefore I won all the games. Anyway, a4, yeah, and then he played this move c5, which I don't know, maybe based on some sort of miscalculation. But he's attacking my d-pawn, okay. But like, I take here first. And then when I took here, this is not defended anymore. So I kind of just get to be up a pawn now. And I don't know if he saw all this ahead of time, because he wins back the bishop pair at least. But he's just down. I think this was just a blunder on his part, and white is just much, much better. I really thought he should take here at this point, and just sort of try and play for the e-pawn. Because when he plays bishop f6, I go bishop b1 kind of instantly, and I thought that it was sort of an insane decision to let me keep both of my bishops. I didn't really understand that. But I guess it's bad either way, so he just wants to keep pieces on. So he goes queen d2. And I started to play like super fast here. My position is so good that it doesn't really matter that I missed something here. But it is white to play. I don't know, like how would the chat play this position? As soon as I put my queen on f3, by the way, I started seeing tactics that appear in Selecki's 1e4 repertoire, where you play the move queen f5, and in order to defend mate, they have to give you a bishop. Just something to keep in mind. Bishop c1, bishop takes h6 is a suggestion, queen f5. Yeah, so I went for bishop c1. I could play queen f5 right away, but I liked that, yes, there's this added threat of taking on h6 and winning the bishop on f6. Or not winning it, but winning pawns in front of the king. And after queen c3, I went queen f5, and I thought he was about to resign. He played the move d3, which I just didn't see, which is really, really a bad thing to not see. White is still completely winning. But I really should have seen this. Instead, the best way to play here is actually just rook a2. And then play queen f5. You know? Like, what the queen doing? Where'd the queen go? That's computer. That's what computer says. Defend one threat, 2 more shall take its place. Yes, yes. But anyway, I was just playing super fast, and it was like, come on, like, resign. And he goes queen b4, which is kind of annoying. He's attacking my little friend, the bishop, so I don't have time to do anything. Like, and this is still stuck to this. The bishop h6 doesn't do anything. So bishop takes d3 is sort of forced. But now I'm up 2 pawns. Still with, like, kind of an attack. And then he played the move knight takes d3. So here is gigantic decision point, in my opinion. Would the chat play rook takes d3, queen takes d3, or e takes d3? E takes d3 doesn't make any sense, but I'm including it just in case someone wants to play it. I think this is hugely based on style and a practical decision. But I'll share my thoughts here. And if you're choosing rook takes or queen takes, explain why. So it's kind of split in the chat. My instinct was actually to play rook takes d3, which gives up a pawn, but I wanted to follow it up with bishop takes h6, queen takes b5, g4, and attack this way. This was my idea. I really wanted to do this. Intuition was screaming to do this. On the other hand, if I play queen takes d3, I am up 2 pawns for nothing. For nothing. So with that in mind, what would you do? Would you go for the seemingly fun attack that may or may not be good, that requires more calculation, more energy, it has less room for error, but it looks like so much fun? I made what I thought was a practical, mature decision. I was so proud of I took with the queen, and I'm like, I am up 2 pawns. There's no reason I shouldn't win this. Come to find out, rook takes d3 is best. Bishop takes h6 is not even best. It's like second best. It wants to just play d6 and like say that this pawn is so strong. And that's valid. But even bishop takes h6, queen takes b5, in this line, g4 is the best move. And white is still like +2 here. So it would have been like reasonable to go for this, and I was happy that my intuition was right about this position. Even though it's not like the best way to play, it's still winning enough. But the thing is, yeah, you have to be accurate here. And I'm only up a pawn now, and then if I mess up the attack, the endgame could be bad for me because of these double connected pass pawns. I mean, so, but I played queen takes d3, which is like only like teensy tiny bit worse than rook takes. This isn't the guess the elo part, cheese boy. So I played queen takes, rook c8, bishop f4, The thing I learned here was to play bishop e3. This is what buddy Nick Tice told me because it attacks a pawn. So that was what I should have done. And then I played rook b1 here. I'm activating all my pieces with tempo. And he played rook c5, which shocked me. And let me tell you why. Let me tell you why queen c5 shocked me. I thought that after the move rook c1, queen e7, rook takes c8, rook takes c8, d6, queen has to go somewhere dumb. I was just like completely crushing there. Trading off a pair of rooks while advancing the pawn with tempo would be very, very useful. And that's all true. What I failed to consider was that he is attacking the d-pawn, and that was the point of queen c5. So then I was like, of course I didn't stop to think about what his move did. I was just like, oh, that's stupid. It just lets me trade rooks. And then he took my pawn, and it's like, what? That's my pawn. You just took my pawn? I'm still +3 here, apparently. But to me, I'm like letting the advantage slip, and I'm starting to get stressed. Something that would be better would be to defend the pawn. Or even, I don't know. It's not even bad. It's the third best move. But defending the really strong d-pawn makes a lot of sense, right? I didn't want to play e4 because I felt like this was like really overextending at this point. And now I don't have the option to play e3 anymore. f2 could be a target. I was reluctant to play something like this. I was, pawns don't go back. Bishop d4, bishop e3. Sure, but like, okay, he like goes here. Or even here actually is better. And then, I don't know, like I'm slowly, why not rook takes e3? Oh, well first of all, I didn't see that was legal. So that would be the main reason that I did that. I probably didn't see that in the game either if I considered that move. I don't know, still this though. Like, yeah, white's winning. White's winning in a lot of ways. I just, I didn't want to play e4. Instead I wanted to give him my d-pawn. So this is all forced. And listen, this endgame should still be completely winning for white. White is still up a pawn, has a more active rook, has more advanced pawns, and arguably maybe a better bishop sometimes. So he attacks my boy. All right, white to play and make it go. Give me a line, please, not a move. Full lines only, implying I can calculate deeper than one ply. Well, fucking, you get 3 points for suggesting. You get 1 point for suggesting the top engine move. You get 3 points for suggesting the top engine line, and you get 5 points for suggesting what the GM suggested, because that's actual thinking and not looking at the computer. And I haven't seen, yeah. So. Okay, someone said a5, rook a4, bishop d2. Is rook d4 a problem? That is the question. That is a question. That is one of the 20 questions that you must answer. But you get 5 points, 4 points for that because that was GM's first idea, was to play bishop d2. All right, time's up. So a5 is good because after rook a4, rook takes b7, takes... bishop e3, if a6, b6, black's down a tempo, like the pawn is here instead of here, if you do not play a5, because the rook would have taken here and he would have played a5, and then the counterplay that happened in my game would happen. After a lot of... I thought that the d4 square was really, really important. So I played the move... bishop e3 first because I didn't want one of his pieces to get control over this too quickly, and then I went for this, and after a5, b6, oh okay, I went there. This is still winning for white, but again, I allowed counterplay. I'm gonna go back later and show you what the best move was in this position, or not the best move, but like the GM move. Because it'll make more sense after you see what happens in the game. So, because it's just hard to explain. So bishop e3 takes a5, rook a7, rook a1, kind of pushing my king to a better square, a4. So the issue here is like, okay, after b6, a3, I can't play this move because after rook b1, my rook's not going to be able to defend the a file and the b pawn. Thanks for the 2 months. Disassociate now. I know, but it became weirdly difficult to win this with the non-computer lines. Because now there's rook takes b7. So that's one issue. So b6 has to be, or b7 has to be played at the exact right time. Additionally, I don't want to allow this. I came up with f4 here, which is what another GM suggested when I showed the game. They thought that like the idea of f4 bishop f2 seemed forced, and the reason to do that was because I need to control both e5 and d4. Because, you know, as we said, this doesn't work. And I have to control promotion square. You want to play this, king h7, then what? First b8 here. Oh, here rook b1 here. Okay, then what? If queens, you know, you just take it, and still I have this move, and I can't get on this diag. You're starting to see the dilemma here, right? Like, it's not so easy. If I could kick this bishop off this diagonal, that would be helpful. So that's why I came up with f4, bishop f2, e4. Because I want to play e5 and just be able to control this diagonal. Yeah, bishop d8, I assume this is where Subham said bishop d8. Maybe, because of this. And if I take, you take, you know. But my opponent played the move h5 here. Am I, like, I'm running low on time, we're both running low on time. My intuition screams to play rook a5, but I couldn't really figure out why, and I was running very low on time. So I just played the move e5 because I was starting to feel like I was going to blunder a second time and just lose. So I was like, oh god, I just get off of that. I am so bad under time pressure, I don't want to lose. But this is correct because after g6 I couldn't figure out like what the point was. But the point was you go back to a7 and now e5, e6 comes with a pin. But I didn't get that far. I only thought like 20 seconds or something, maybe more. I don't remember. You can check the VODs. These were all streamed on twitch.tv/Zefcat. So you can rewatch the VODs if you're curious about the commentary and what the fans thought. #ad, yes. So I was just like, all right, whatever. Bishop d8. But now it's just like a draw because I can't go. If I play b7 again, rook b1. If I did what I did, like he should just play bishop takes b6, and then rook b1, and then promote. And if bishop d4, then what? Hello, you should play rook d1 here, and then you just chase the boy around, or you can just queen when he gets around. If he goes like here, yeah, you just queen, or rook. You go rook. Anyway, he didn't see that. He just went here, which is good enough. Because, again, this is attacked with b7, I don't know, like bishop c7. That's what happened. King f3. This all happened in time pressure. Rook b4. Bishop a1 was certainly a panic move. Like I remember, I think I played that really quickly because I just got freaked out. If anyone's wondering, the move king e4 would be a hideous blunder and lose the game, actually. It's rook takes d4, bishop b6, and now he's controlling the promotion square and queening next. And that's going to happen no matter where I put if I put the bishop here, like this is pinned and it's really annoying. So I just tucked it away. And now I don't really have a move left, so I just decided to trade these pawns off. There's only like... White should be able to press here apparently for a win. The computer only likes 2 moves here that are winning. Everything else is a draw. I haven't really explored why. Seems kind of deep to me, and I'm a surface level guy. But white to play here. You have like 30 seconds. Go. King e4, rook a3, both wrong. I played rook a3. Because I'm a scared little person. The answer is rook a6 or bishop d4. Putting your pieces on the most active squares they can be on. Makes sense. I don't know if there's a reason really beyond that, other than like when you're pressing, go forward, go hard. I just didn't really know what to do after this, but then we still go bishop d4, and then if check, I assume bishop e3? Yeah, bishop e3. And that's the point. I get to keep my guy here, and the bishop can't actually ever build up on this pin, because there's no access point. Like, I'm controlling this, and this square can't be accessed because of this. And then the plan is I don't know, this? Checkmate? Black's bishop's hilariously bad, yeah. I mean, he could go, like, here... You know, like that probably won't take too long. He probably won't get checkmated before then. Black has to play, like, f6 here, which is like, what? We still go h3. And here it actually wants to play rook takes e3 to avoid getting got. But it makes sense. We're going to make a pass pawn. So that is how I would have won after blundering the win away several times. I just kind of slowly... I was just kind of freaking out, and I was like, all right, give me a draw before I blunder again. So I just traded everything and accepted a draw. All right, so let's go back to the critical position here. I can find it. So after all that, and like realizing everything that went wrong, we decided that, and I'm saying I agreed after hearing, it, that here e3 is really, really strong. And we're actually going to attack the pawn this way, and this way we're already controlling this square, and everybody wins. If takes, or maybe even, no, I think it's actually better to play a4 here than e3, was the line. I think is what we were saying. And then again, if here, it's basically what happened in my game, except Black's pawn is back here, not here, and I already have control over d4. So e3 is a move that I wouldn't consider because it just, I don't know, like it just looks wrong. Didn't consider, yeah, me neither, so it looks weird. So anyway, that was game 1. It's all downhill from there, let me tell you.